channel. I'm a self-employed gardener and I also have an allotment, so it's a mixture of the two really. So I've got the people who watch us for the allotment and I've got the people who subscribe and watch for the self-employed garden business that I run. So this video is going to be 5 mistakes to avoid if you're a self-employed gardener. Now I'm not preaching here, I'm speaking from experience and I've done a couple of these things. So on this channel I'm just new to gardening or running a gardening business rather. I've been doing it for years for friends and family. So I'm 6 months into it and this is my journey, and I want to try and sort of bring videos similar to this just to give people who might be interested in starting a business, a gardening business, or who are just new themselves, just to give a few pointers and just to draw on from my own experience, and hopefully if I can help you guys then that's good stuff, isn't it? So the first one is probably the biggest one, and it's undercharging. Now if you've undercharged, and it's worth saying as well, I'm going to link some videos below here because I've done a couple of videos where I show you a job and I use real examples. I tell you how much I've charged and I've just run through what I'm going through in my head when I'm pricing a job, and the questions I'm asking myself. So it just runs through step by step, and as I say, each question just to give you an example of how I go about pricing the job. And as I say, I use real examples with real prices, so I'll tell you exactly how much I've charged. So they're quite popular, so check them out. I'll list them below, and check them out after the video. So yeah, so undercharging, if you've undercharged a one-off job, you can sort of grin and bear it and just get on with the job. You get paid a little bit less than maybe what you should have done, and then you move on to the next one. But if you undercharge a regular job, now I've done this, one of my earlier jobs, and I'm still doing the garden as well, and I don't want to sack it off. I don't want to tell her all of a sudden I'm going to have to increase the price, because that's not very professional at all. I'm going to keep going to the end of the season and then reassess next season, see how things go. She's a canny woman, the garden's not massive, otherwise I would be really annoyed. And we're only probably talking an extra £5–10 max. So I'm charging £20 and it's sort of a full garden maintenance kind of job. I'd say a full garden. She's got some sort of bushes and things which obviously don't need doing every time, so some visits I'm a little bit less time wise, some it takes a little bit more if she wants us to do. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but if you're undercharging regular jobs, fortnightly jobs, then you're just going to be going to that job and you know it's just going to be sort of a negative, and you're just going to be saying sort of when you at the job, oh, like you're starting it on a downer, you know, you're not going to be happy really doing it. So yeah, so as I say, watch those videos because I think they'd be quite useful for you, just to give you a bit of an insight really. So undercharge, and try not undercharge. So the second one leads into that one, and it's undervaluing yourself. Now I know when I first started I was quite nervous telling people the prices because I was new. I had confidence in my ability to do gardening. And you know, I knew I'd be hard work, and I knew I'd always be polite and on time and conscientious and trustworthy. But I was a bit nervous telling them the price. I think that's what it was, rather than undervaluing what I knew I could give to the job. It was a case of just being confident and owning the price kind of thing, if you see what I mean. So that'll come, I think. So you know, you might start off like that, but as you get more confidence, as you build more customers up, you know, try not to undervalue yourself. Because what I always say as well, or I always think it anyway, I don't know if I've told anyone, is people are paying you to do a job. So people are paying you to cut the grass, trim a hedge, that's fine, but they're also paying you to not have to do it themselves. You know, the convenience of having someone else doing it so they can just forget about it. I'm talking able-bodied people, obviously. We all, I'm sure we do, people do work for people who you know can't do it because they may be disabled, or you know they've got some sort of problem. So I'm not talking about that kind of thing scenario. I'm talking about people obviously who, you know, are able-bodied. You know, they just might not want to do the garden or haven't got time, you know, because they're always working or whatever. Loads of situations really. So yeah, so they're paying you to not have to think about the garden, you know, which is worth a lot more than possibly just doing the job. You know, so just value yourself. You know, you're saving them time, and time's precious. You know, you're saving them time, you're saving them the effort, and they can just forget about it. So when people, so this is number 3 by the way, holding my fingers up, number 3. So when people ask you just to do a grass cut, they just say, right, I'm not bothered about anything else, I just want a grass cut. Whatever you do, and this is really important, and this will set you apart from some of the other people, whatever you do, don't just run the mower over it. It's not just a grass cut. It's really important that. Now, you've got the grass, obviously, you're going to cut the grass, you're going to put the mower over it, but it's the edging. You know, I think 99% of us will strim. You know, you're going to have to trim the edges if it's up against a fence or a wall or whatever, but I think what I'm getting at is establishing those edges, the nice clean lines and edges. Now you might want to charge a little bit more on your first visit and just explain that to them, just say, yeah, I can cut the grass, no problem, it's going to be X amount. For standard grass cut on an average, small average sized lawn, I normally charge about 20 quid, you know, if they've got a garden bin and things. So the first visit you might want to just say, well, yeah, cut the lawn for X amount, but I need to put some nice edges in, define maybe a border or, you know, that kind of thing. You might want to add an extra 10, 15, 20 quid onto the first visit, and most people should be fine with that. I've just started to do that because I didn't do this in the beginning. I just sort of said, right, grass is 20 quid or whatever, and then I just maybe put an edge in. Over the next few visits, you know, if I had a little bit more time kind of thing. But now, because it's personal pride as well, and so the first visit I want to put an edge in, and they might not be happy with the first visit being a little bit extra, and I'll have to assess it. You know, if it's not too big a garden, then I'll just do it. I'm not bothered. If it's a decent sort of job local to me as well, you know, if it's only 5 minutes down the road, I'll put an edge in. But if I have to spend an extra 20 minutes, half an hour, that's fine. But don't just run the mower over it. Get your edges and lines crisp, because it really, really, really transforms the lawn. You know, it sets you apart and makes you work professional. And it's really important, that one. So I've got my list. So another one is driving too far. And this is coupled with an unorganised diary as well, because you could have a little sort of a town that you drive 20 minutes to, which is pushing it for me. I like to stick to 10, maximum 15 minutes to my home address, but if I do travel that extra sort of few miles, if I am driving 15, 20 minutes, I want a good cluster of gardens in that area to do on that one day, you know, and that's worthwhile. You know, if you're doing 4 or 5 gardens in one day in an area, however far away, that's okay. But what you don't want to be doing is driving 20 minutes that way, 10 minutes that way, 10 minutes that way, all in the same day. So you've spent a good 30 to 45 minutes just travel time. So that's what I'm saying, you want to organise your diary, and this will come in time. It might not be straight away. You might have to get your regulars first, because let's face it, it's not all going to be nice. You're not all going to get 5 people in one village messaging you, then another 5 messaging you. It is going to be all over the place and quite sporadic at first. So accept that you might have to do a little bit of driving and travel time, but when you get your customers, go through them, you know, plan it on a piece of paper, you know, and just work it out so it's nice and easy for you. So that's what I've just started to do now. I mean, I've got 30 regulars with one-off stuff as well. We're having a baby actually in 3 weeks' time, so I'm just starting to dial it down a little bit. It's coinciding nicely with it's just coming at the end of the season, so I'm being quite lucky there. But yeah, it's really important just to plan your diary, and if you can get 5 or 6 jobs, you know, in an area or within a 5-minute drive of each other, because 5 minutes is fine, then that'll really, really like maximise your profits, and you can get a few more gardens in, you know, and take on a few more extra customers. It's really important, that one. But as I say, that'll come with time. So the last one, and again, it's something I don't really do, but I have done the odd little bit in the past. So it's doing extras for free for people. Now I'm not talking about big things, you know. I'm talking about, well, I am talking about big things. It's the smaller things you can maybe do for free. But yeah, so the bigger things, so you might have a garden, it might be a regular customer, you might do a full sort of maintenance on it. And so the customer might be thinking, well, anything I want doing in that garden they're going to do as part of the maintenance package. But that's not really the case. So I'll give you an example. So I do a garden, full regular maintenance package, small garden, charge 30 quid. And one day she came up to us and lovely woman, mind, I haven't got any complaints. She said, right, can I have a border dug in along that side of the fence? Now it wasn't massive, I don't know how long it was, 2-3 metres max. I said, well, not really. So that's not really part of the package, you know. When I quoted for the garden, I quoted for what was here. And I did say this, because I do say this to all my customers when I do offer quotes. I say, any extras will be, you know, I'll have to charge more. You know, so like digging borders in, you know, like painting something. Obviously, if you, I'm guessing like people won't want you to like paint a fence for free. It's a bit ridiculous, but like smaller things, you know, like putting a bit of a border in, or you know, it could be anything. If we're talking about like, you know, customers say, oh, I bought these bedding plants, I've got some pots here, I've got a bag of compost, would you mind just popping them in? Yeah, no problem at all. It'll take you 10 minutes. You don't want to be like, oh well, that'll be an extra £5. You know, you just got to like, it's got to be realistic, and just got to sort of use your common sense a bit. But yeah, so as I say, the border, and so I just said, look, you know, when I priced the job, it was for what was here. You know, that would be a little bit extra, and she was fine with that. Like genuinely, if you're nice with people, and if you explain and just say, look, it's gonna add like, you know, an extra hour and a half onto my day, and I've got my day planned, I'll have to come back or whatever. And, you know, people will understand. Most people will anyway. Yeah, so try not to do extras like bigger jobs, because it will eat into your time, and obviously the old cliche, time is money, but it's true. So yeah, I'll leave that there. So there are 5 questions, obviously, that worth taken on board. I think I certainly have sort of looked upon them and try to do something about them. So I'm going to be doing a couple of videos similar style to this. So I'm going to do one on how I got started, like, you know, what sort of equipment did I buy, how much, what do you need, advertising, all that kind of thing. So basically tell you my story and how I got started. And another video which I've got my questions here for us, so I might film it after this one. It's 10 questions to ask yourself if you're wanting to get into gardening. So I've carefully thought of this because it's quite important. So not only asking yourself if you think you'll take to gardening and being self-employed, but if you definitely decide that's what you want to do, you know, what should you do to get off on the right foot. So yeah, so they'll be coming shortly anyway. So if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I'm really trying to grow this channel, and it's doing well, steady progress. So give it a thumbs up, because YouTube will like that, and it'll just send the video off to lots of different people's screens, and hopefully we'll click on it. Give it a subscribe as well, or give the channel a subscribe, and I'll keep bringing these videos. And if there's anything you want us to go into a bit more, because I have got a business degree as well. I went to university and did a business degree, so I've got a bit of a business background, so I am keen to sort of go into the business side of things as well, and the running of it. So if you want us to do a video on any sort of topic in particular or whatever, just pop it in the comments, and I can obviously do a bit of research and come up with a bit of a video. So that's fine, absolutely fine. Obviously I like to get feedback from my viewers and subscribers and things. So yeah, anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys, if you got this far, and I'll see you in the next video.